Money, 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 money. Money. Bow, bow, count, 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 count. Is this the end of cash? And does the end of cash mean the end of freedom? We explore the truth today on Makayo Messenger. Welcome to Makayo Messenger. It's great to be with you guys today. Thank you so much for joining me as we explore the end of cash in society. It's one of those things that's been talked about for quite some time, but they seem to be moving forward with it now in a major way. If you haven't already, please do hit the subscribe button. We want to welcome all the new subscribers to our channel. Thank you so much for subscribing. It's great having you guys in the mix here with us. And if you would hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, the like button, and of course the notification bell so you don't miss any of our videos as they come up. We also appreciate your support. We are a ministry, and if you feel moved, we pray for your support daily, and you can do that through the links in the description. Thank you so much for supporting this ministry. Things are happening in the world. God is moving, and so is the devil, as we know. And guys, we got to keep an upbeat spirit through it all, even though the mark of the beast seems to be moving in closer and closer. In Revelation 13, it says, "It also forced," talking about the beast, "all people, great and small, rich and poor, free and slave, to receive a mark on their right hand or on their foreheads, so that they could not buy nor sell unless they had the mark, which is the name of the beast or the number of its name." This calls for wisdom. Let the person who has insight calculate the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man. That number is 666. You're probably well familiar with that. Even if you've never read the Bible, you've probably heard about the mark of the beast and the idea of 666. Well, it's in the Bible, guys. And I know a lot of people are looking for this mark on the hand and mark on the forehead. And until that time, they say, no, it's not the mark of the beast. But I hate to break it to you guys, it's always the mark of the beast. By the time it gets to our hand and foreheads, it will be too late. Now is the time you want to take a stand. Now is the time you want to stand up and stand against these things and cry out for freedom while you still have it. The end of cash, guys, the end of cash is upon us. Everybody's talking about it. Why? Because they want to get rid of the dollar, because the dollar represents your freedom. That gives you the ability to buy what you want, when you want, however you want, wherever you want, and nobody knows what you're buying and what you're getting, and it's your private thing, and it's between you and the Lord what you're going to spend that money on. But they want to get rid of that. They want to have a way to track you. They want to have a way to trace you. They want to have a way to know exactly where that money's going and put a stop to your spending if they so desire. So if they haven't gotten the legislation through just yet, and we'll talk about that in just a second, they're finding other ways around it. For example, let's just end cash bail. If someone gets taken to jail, you can no longer bail out with cash, right? That's one of the ways they're trying to go about it. They're trying to get rid of it in the restaurants and say, oh, you can no longer use cash to buy and sell in the restaurants. It's just a way they're trying to squeeze it out. So eventually, it'll just be gone everywhere, and you'll kind of wake up one day and say, hey, you mean I can't spend cash here? And maybe, for most of us, we use our card all the time. We think, oh, well, that's convenient and so forth. And it is. But we have to remember, if we lose cash, we lose an element of freedom, and we lose the ability really to have control over that spending. Because once it's in the digital world, it's in somebody else's hands. So one of the ways they're doing that is suppressing it in bars and restaurants and coffee shops and all sorts of places where they're trying to get rid of cash slowly. They're chipping away at it, chipping away before you wake up and realize it's gone. So people go, well, gee, in that case, I might just get rid of my wallet too, and I'll just have a chip put in my hand so I can just buy and sell that way. People don't know what the Bible said, what I just read to you in Revelation 13, so they go right out and they buy a chip and they stick it in their hand and they start buying and selling with the chip in their hand. Well, it's going to get to the point where it's not even a chip in your hand. It'll probably be more like a tattoo or something along those lines, probably even of an invisible nature, I would imagine. But right now, people are putting chips in and they're saying, isn't this fun? This is great. I don't need to use my wallet anymore, and so forth. But they don't realize that they are giving themselves over to being an SLAVE of the system, right? They're giving over to the beast system. And the barcode actually has 666 already in it. So they had already thought about this back when they created the barcode. They're like, well, we'll eventually put it on people's hands and foreheads, and it'll already have 666 built into it. So whether it's a barcode, a QR code, or some sort of invisible code, and now they have the ability to do an invisible tattoo when they can stick it under the skin, so it won't even look unsightly on your hand. If you don't want to have this barcode on your hand that everybody can see, it'll be invisible. Kind of like when you go to the theme parks and they put that little special ink on your hand, and they do it that way. Or they just use your good old fingerprint. That's another way they could do it as well. Now, there's been some maybe perhaps what do they want to call it, preconditioning, or there's a word for it where they kind of put it in your mind before it happens, pre-programming, I guess. But basically, this was done in the movie Stellar, which is kind of interesting. They used this symbol in that movie, and it just so happens that's the very same symbol that the digital currency company Stellar is using. Now, this was on the cover of The Economist not too long ago. Actually, this is from 1988, so I guess it was quite some time ago. I didn't realize it was that long ago. Wow, 1988, they were already using this symbol. If you notice on that coin, it has that little circle with the line through it. Well, that's kind of a new digital currency symbol that they're considering using here, and it was seen in the movie Interstellar, and it just so happens there's a company called Stellar that is heading up a lot of digital assets. If you click on this link here, I think it'll take you, I'll show you a little chart here on that real quick. If you notice, it has a rocket just like the movie Interstellar. So is there a connection here? Seems like it. Yeah, seems like it. Anyway, if you look here, you see all the different symbols from the dollar sign, the yen, and so forth, and at the very bottom of that little chart of 1000s, you'll see a stellar sign. Like that's a new kind of digital currency sign, perhaps, that we will be using. So something to consider there. Well, of course, our own government here in the U.S. is recommending this and saying, yes, this will be a wonderful thing. We should get the digital dollar going. And it's being pushed everywhere you see because they want to get control over you. And one of the best ways to do that is with your money. It was a famous person back in, I think it was in, around when this nation was formed, that said, hey, I don't care. Give me control of a nation's money, and I don't care who makes the laws, right? Because once you control the dollar, you control everybody, including the people that make the laws, right? Technical possibilities for a central bank digital currency. So that's the term that they're using. It's called a CBDC, central bank digital currency. And this is something they claim they were exploring, but really it's just the front work of what they plan on doing and what they plan on instituting. So then, of course, now they're recommending this digital dollar, and they did all these different studies on it, and this is going to be such a wonderful thing as we take away your freedom, right? And so the Mr. B goes ahead and signs an executive order to have this done, and coming up on December 13th of this year, right, they're going to introduce, it's called C-Day. We had D-Day when World War II started. Well, it's basically the same thing on your dollars. And they're calling it Biden Bucks, Central Bank Digital Currency Executive Order 14067. And it says buried in the new government spending bill is an executive order 14067. And it's the most treasonous act in U.S. history, according to James Ricard and Robert Kiyosaki, who's famous for his Rich Dad, Poor Dad series. He also exposed the supposed singular event called C-Day, which according to them will take place on December 13th, 2022, and will disrupt the traditional financial systems in the U.S. Please understand the possible implications of this ultimate challenge to our free society. Any cash you now have saved outside of the banking system is invalid and will no longer be of any value when this process is complete. So see, they're going to force you onto the system by introducing a new system that initially they'll just kind of say they'll use it alongside of the current system, but over time they'll just keep taking those dollars and disappearing them until finally they say, oh, sorry, you just have to use the new system now. And we've seen that happen in other ways as well, haven't we? Any digital currency you have in the bank may be turned off by government thugs for not obeying the correct party line. Well, boy, we certainly see that, and we can feel that all around us. Those selling precious metals for money will receive Biden bucks rather than cash. No Biden bucks, no food, rent, mortgage, cars, clothes, etc. Everything will be denied. You cannot buy nor sell without the big B bucks, right? What else have I forgotten that's going to be destroyed by this digital end game? So here they say, and they combine this with 87,000 new armed IR to the S agentes, what could possibly go wrong? When Mr. B-Bucks are rolled out, many experts, myself included, believe they will begin an era of total government control and surveillance. This is not hyperbole. Guys, it's not. They're already doing it. Okay, they've already been doing it. You know, speaking of the IR to the S, they already were targeting conservatives and Christians and so forth. So you think they're not going to do it all the more now? And now that they can control your money, they can just turn it on or off at will. If they don't like you or they don't like what you're doing with your money or whatever you're doing, they can turn it off. They can make it disappear. This would dramatically expand the power and influence of the federal government, essentially acting as a new type of spyware. With B-Bucks, the government will be able to force you to comply with its agenda, because if you don't, they could turn off your money. This won't be like freezing a bank account. It will be so much easier. All right, and in their own papers, in their own response about this order, and again, this isn't something the American people voted on. He's not a dictator, right? We elected him, and he supposedly represents us, which means we supposedly have a voice, right? These executive orders are like dictator moves. They're not the will of the people, right? So if you go here, it's kind of interesting what they talk about a few different things here, but here it says here, while a CBDC would be issued by a country's central bank, the supporting infrastructure could involve both public and private participants. In other words, your purchases are no longer your own business, right? They're everybody's business. And now they can start judging you, and they can start saying, well, we don't like that you're supporting that, or that you bought that, or that you're purchasing this, or what have you, right? It becomes public information that they can then use against you in many different ways. And you know that they're already doing that. And they've already got the law enforcement involved. Isn't that nice? So that they not only will be able to control your money themselves, but they can also send the law after you to detect, investigate, and prosecute criminal activity related to digital assets. See, so now they already got the law enforcement to come after you for whatever you do with your money, right? And we know the banks are already doing this, where you can't even go in and get your money out anymore without them saying, well, why are you getting it out? And what's your occupation? And, you know, they give you the third degree. It's like, wait a minute, isn't this my money? Isn't my money? I can do whatever I want. Isn't that not a free country? I can do whatever I want. They don't want you to think that it is. And they'll only let you get out a certain amount, a very low amount, maybe $5,000, $8,000, something like that. And they'll suppress you and keep you from getting access to your own money. And it also goes along with what they call bail-ins. Back in 2008, they had bailouts where all the taxpayers paid to bail out the big banks. Well, now that everybody complained about that, so they said, okay, we won't do that anymore. Next time we'll do a bail-in, which is even worse. What that means is they can just take your money that's already in the bank and keep it. See how that goes? Isn't that nice? 4 signs that digital dollar is coming. I thought this was interesting, the way they word this. As authorities increasingly turn their attention to crypto regulation, several signs indicate that a U.S. CBDC may be on the horizon. Oh, not to mention executive order that goes into play in December. Authorities have warmed up to the idea in the months since Mr. B's executive order directing dozens of government agencies to I like this. Authorities have warmed up to the idea. Gee, who are the authorities? I thought we were the authorities. Aren't we the American people that they're serving? Like, we're the ones in charge, actually? Who are these authorities that are warming up to the idea? I thought we were the authorities in charge and so forth. Let's keep going here. So now they can control it's money that can be spent on approved items. So they can say, well, you can spend your dollars on groceries, but you can't spend it on the movies, or you can't spend it on something else. Or you can buy that grocery, but you can't buy that grocery. Or, already I think in New York they're outlawing like sugary sodas or something like that. They're going to control everything that you do. It says programmable digital currency restricts citizens' freedoms for socially beneficial outcomes. Now, they'll always sell it to you as that they're doing a good thing for the world. It's good for the environment. It's to help everybody else. It's how they get you to take a poison and die. It's good for everybody if you do this, right? That's the whole system that they're putting forward is, hey, this is great. So they're always going to sell it to you that way, guys. It's never going to be like, oh, this is the mark of the beast. I'm going to bow down to the beast. Therefore, I'm not going to take it. No, they're not going to sell it to you like that. It's called deception. The Bible says they will be deceived, and they will refuse to love the truth until God will send them a delusion. You will be deluded. You'll be deceived. You're not going to be told up front, hey, yeah, this is the mark of the beast, and yes, we are taking your freedom. They're not going to tell you that. They're going to say, no, this is great. This is good for everybody. You're helping the world by getting onto this digital system. A story from mid-last year reveals a creepy side to digital currency. The Bank of England has called on ministers to decide whether a central bank digital currency should be programmable, ultimately giving the issuer control over how it is spent by the recipient, i.e. the government controls how you spend your money. Tom Mutton, a director of the Bank of England, said during a conference on Monday that programming could become a key feature. Oh, could become? It will become, guys. It will become. If there's no such thing as a power they have that they don't use, okay? If they have the power, they will use it. Central bank digital currency in which the money would be programmed to be released only when something happened. He said you can introduce programmability. What happens is if one of the participants in a transaction puts a restriction on future use of money. So you could even restrict, say you give someone money, but you could tell them, well, you can't spend it on anything other than this. And you can even control what they spend the money on. You as another consumer. There could be some socially beneficial outcomes from that, preventing activity which is seen by socially harmful. See, it's this whole socially harmful, socially beneficial. They try to twist it and tell you, oh, it's good for everybody, if you just submit to the system, right? That's communism. That's socialism. They're even using the word social here, because it's not about really being social. It's about being controlled. He warned that the government would be required to intervene. It will restrict people's freedom. Well, yes, obviously. He will warn that the government will be required to intervene and make the final decision. Oh, so the government makes the final decision because you're under a dictatorship. You're not under a free system anymore. Bank of England tells ministers to intervene on digital currency programming. Digital cash could be programmed to ensure it is only spent on essentials or goods which an employer or government deems to be sensible. Oh, yes, we think you can spend your money on that, but oh no, you can't spend your money on that. We are going to control your life from start to finish. And you think, oh, that sounds crazy. That's out of a TV show. That's not really going to happen. Guys, it's right here. It's in front of you. It's happening, okay? People keep saying, oh, this could get bad. It's bad. It's already bad. It's here. It's already happening. In fact, China has already led the way. Isn't that great? They've already created the social credit system that ranks citizens and punishes them with throttled internet speeds and flight bans if the Communist Party deems them untrustworthy. And that's not all it does, as we're going to see here. The Chinese system can also freeze your money. Oh, yes, right. They've already done that. That's right. So they are the test pilot for this worldwide government oversight. Right, the one world government, the one world dictatorship, the one world currency. How China uses facial recognition to control human behavior. Wow, so they're also tracking you by face. Isn't that nice? I always feel like somebody's watching me. Yeah, that's right. Somebody's watching you. Big Brother is watching you. They're already watching you. You thought that was just out of an old book that Orwell wrote, that clever guy. No, it's something that's actually happening, yeah? You're being watched constantly, and they want to do that everywhere. And then they can get to the point where, say, it's not even just a matter of, should we give you more, let you spend your money or let you travel, but now should we even let you live? We're not sure that you're valuable as a human being. According to our credit system, we've evaluated you as a non-essential human being, and we're just going to throw you out altogether. See how that goes? It's Logan's Run. It's what are those? There's a lot of those dystopian movies where they just sort of expand you. Your time here is finished. You've used up enough of the air. We're going to take you out now. It may affect travel prospects, employment, access to finance, and the ability to enter into contracts. Okay, now this is the current system that's in China already that they're looking to bring to a home near you. Check out this announcement that was given on a Chinese train in English that they gave to people to put them in their place in the dystopian future that we're currently living in. People who travel without a ticket or behave disorderly or smoke in public areas will be punished according to regulations, and the behavior will be recorded in individual credit information system. To avoid a negative record of personal credit, please follow the relevant regulations and help with the orders on the train and at the station. Ah, that's nice. See, that's just a nice, peaceful announcement. Not that you're going to be punished or anything. Not that we're going to permanently ruin your record and ruin your life because you accidentally did something indiscreet on a train going somewhere. So I'm sure to the control freaks, the quote unquote Karens out there, the people that want to put everybody in their place. They love this. This is like, oh man, this is dictatorship 101. It's like we can finally control everybody and what they do and what they think and how they feel. Of course, you're not really ever going to control what they really think and feel. They may act that way, but they may feel and think something completely different. But you will. But they want to get to that point where they can get in your brain, your mind, and just control you altogether like little robots. That's basically what they're doing here. Here's another one. This is what they're already doing in China. So what does it look like when you're watched every day of your life? Artificial intelligence, roughly 200 million surveillance. Now, of course, the people they get to interview and the people that China allows them to interview are going to be very pro-system. And of course, they're probably all going to be pro-system, at least claim to be, because they know they're being recorded and they know it's going to affect their social credit score if they say anything negative about it. So once you're in the system, you can't speak out against the system, or it's just going to destroy your abilities all the more. So she's like, oh, yes, it's wonderful. I love being tracked. It's the best part of my life. Oh, yes. I'm so glad that my every move is, that I can't, whether I buy diapers or alcohol, that it judges me based on my purchases. So every purchase she makes in the store gets judged, and that'll affect her score. She starts with 1,000 points. Now she's at 752 points. But, that's cool. I still get discounts and privileges, I'm a model citizen. The system's always great until it isn't. Until that day you're like, well, wait a minute. I thought I was fine. Right? So they're like, oh, yeah, it's great. The system's working. I love it. And so they're tracking them on cameras. They're watching their every move. They're tracking their every purchase. They know everything that they do, and they can control them and tell them we like it or we don't like it. And if they don't like it, they lower your score. They take away your freedoms, right? It's like the perfect dictatorship, man. If you ever wanted a perfect dictatorship, this is it. Oh, and then they have signs everywhere telling you how you have to obey and the things you have to obey. And, they've got you covered. And then they have little Gestapo, little Stasi, little people that report on you. So here's like your next door neighbor who's supposed to be your friend, but she really is secretly reporting on you to the government and telling them all your problems and all the horrible things that you do. And so Big Brother is watching in so many ways. Here's a guy who his life was ruined by this. Now he can't travel anywhere. He's trapped in his home. He can't go anywhere. And he tries to buy a ticket, and they say, no, sorry, Charlie, you're stuck because your score is low because you haven't followed the government system and abided by our rules. And then they publicly shame them. They put pictures of them in public places. You see that on the billboard? Those are actually people that they're shaming. Oh, you jaywalked, or you did this wrong. So they put their pictures out there, and you can go to a website and you can actually scan the area and see where other shameful people are there near you that you can avoid and mock, right? And so it's just all about publicly shaming you and making you feel horrible and taking you down. Now you say, oh well, it's maybe it's good because it takes care of bad people. Listen. If you don't think this is going to be twisted to be used against people who are enemies of the state or enemies of their politics, it even says that in what they do here. Now here's Canada. Trudeau has already said how much he loves the dictatorship in China, and so they're sending cops door to door to tell you who are looking at your Facebook page and not liking the things that you say. That's exactly what this woman is doing here. She didn't like her Facebook post, so they sent her out there. And said, yeah, I just want to inform you, I'm a nice police officer. She's kind of small and pretty. She's not threatening, right? But it's the police at your door telling you, oh, we saw your Facebook post and just want to let you know, what the rules are as far as public engagements. And this is in Canada, guys, supposedly a free country. And they're just going door to door telling people, we don't like what you said online, and we just want to let you know that we're watching you. Isn't that nice of us? So then they ask people in China, how much do you approve of this social credit system? Well, what do you think they're going to say? If they say they hate it, which I'm sure they all do, they're not, except for those few, people that are like, oh, this is wonderful, the brainwashed ones. They're not going to tell you the truth. They're not going to say, oh, yes, I hate it, because that's going to ruin their score. So they're going to have to say, so now they're stuck in a system where they have to keep supporting that very system that is destroying them, right? Or they'll be destroyed to an even greater degree. Here's an outline of it. The game of life, they call it. China's social credit system expands the idea of a standard credit check to all aspects of life. Each citizen is assigned 1,000 points, constantly monitored to judge their behavior and rated accordingly. So here's the good citizen on the left side, right? Citizens gain points by donating blood or money. They literally want to suck the blood out of you. They literally are forcing you to give up your blood, to cut yourself open to gain points in this system. So you have to give money or give blood It says you have to engage in charity work. You have to praise the government on social media. You have to help the poor. And below it says, if the rewards for this are fast tracking a work promotion, priority status for children's school admissions, easier access to bank loans and consumer credit, tax breaks. Now, on the bad side, citizens lose points if they're not visiting one of their aging parents regularly, if they're cheating in online games, if they're insincere apologies for crimes committed. Okay, who's going to judge that? Oh, you're not being sincere. If you're someone they don't like and want to get rid of, they'll just say, oh, you're insincere. Spreading rumors on the internet, i.e. speaking the truth on the internet and telling what's really going on and speaking out against the government. Punishments include exclusion from booking flights on train tickets or train tickets, ineligibility for certain jobs, restricted access to public services, public shaming on TV and via social media. See, and eventually that public shaming is going to be to public executions. They're eventually going to, it's the Running Man. Right? It's those game shows. It's V for Vendetta, or it's all these different dystopian future shows. They're all coming into play, guys. Revival of the Dangan, it's called. Let me back this off a little bit. It says the Dangan means the record was a paper filed by the Chinese government containing the following documents. So this is what they used to do back in the time of Mao. I got to back it off to read it here. It says photographs, employment records, school reports, information on physical characteristics. The social credit system can be seen as the digital Dangan. Gathering citizen data mirrors this principle that has been used since the Chinese Maoist era. The file was created when a child started elementary school and was updated throughout their lifetime. So now they just have basically a digital version of the tyranny that they've already been doing. Well, they're doing that with us too. Don't think they're not doing that in the first world. They're already tracking you. What do you think the NSA spends all their time doing? Homeland security. They're spending all their time focusing on the citizens of our country. They're not looking at the people outside, looking at the people inside. So they're already tracking you, and they just want to take it to the next level. Here's another way of breakdown of it. You have one guy going up the staircase. He's the good guy, right? According to them, on the left side, and then on the right side, you have someone falling down the staircase. Now here they say the total points you can get are 1,300 points, and on the left side, just reading these bullets, it says, here's what gets him these 1,300 points. It's the game of life. It really is. They're turning your life into the Squid Game. They're turning it into literally you have to work your life as a game to try to earn points, and which they can take away at will. If they don't think you're sincere, if they don't, we don't like you. We don't like the way you look. Papers, please. We're not going to let you pass. Okay, so on the left side, you've got engaging in charity work. They put a few things in there that sound reasonable. You're like, well, yeah, I can see that. Taking care of elderly family members. That sounds good. Positively influencing one's neighborhood. What does that mean? That's very broad. Oh, wait. This guy, he brought some alcohol home the other night. He's not positively influencing the neighborhood. Oh, he got angry with his wife. I heard their argument through the wall. They're not positively influencing the neighborhood, right? Donating blood. Okay, they're really big on this blood thing. And as you know, they have the highest capital punishment rate and highest organ donor quote-unquote rate. Isn't that interesting? Capital punishment, organ donor rate. Is there any connection there? Praising the government on social media. Okay, so now they want you to praise the government on social media to get points. Helping the poor. Having a good financial credit history. And then what's the last one here? Committing a heroic act. Okay, but a lot of it ties into I imagine a lot of the negatives come from this praising, whether you praise the government or against the government, because they want to stay in power. Okay, on the right side says traffic, things that knock you down the stairs. Okay, the person following us says traffic offenses such as drunk driving or jaywalking, illegal protesting against the authorities. Okay, see, the first thing you're like, okay, traffic offenses, jaywalking, they seem kind of reasonable. Then they throw in something like illegally, in quotes, protesting against the authorities. Right. Illegally means just protesting. Just the fact that you protest, period, is illegal in their eyes, right? And they're obviously going to take you out for that. So now you can't protest against the very system that has enslaved you. Not visiting your aging parents regularly. And then going down here, there's the 1,000 points. I guess there's a 1,000-point level and a 1,300 points. So then the next level is posting anti-government messages on social media. Of course. See, it goes back to the government again, protesting. Spreading rumors on the internet, like about the government that has enslaved you, right? Not rumors, but truths. Insincere apologies, and they put insincere in quotes. Insincere apologies for crimes committed. Again, there's that, who judges? Who judges? Oh, my apology was insincere. Right, it's just a way to clamp down on you more if they don't like you. Participating in anything deemed to be a cult. You mean like this society that we're in? That would be a cult. This society that I give into and follow this point system, there's your cult right there. And the lowest score, cheating in online games. But they really don't like that. Okay, so anyway, they try to put things in there that kind of cheating in online games. Okay, that seems innocuous. And then they put it in there with like participating in anything deemed a cult, like Christianity, for example, like being a Christian. Oh, I see what you're getting at there. So guys, that is the world that we are living in. In Galatians 5, it says, "It is for freedom that Christ has set us free. Stand firm then, and do not let yourselves be burdened again by a yoke of slavery," guys. Slavery, that's what they're talking about. It's slavery. They dress it up. They make it fancy. They give you a cell phone to monitor you on it. Oh, you think, I'm okay. I got an apartment. I got 1,000 points. 1,300 points. Okay. It's slavery, guys. It's slavery. They're taking away your freedom to make your own choices, to live how you want to live, and who cares what they think, right? Stand firm then, and do not let yourselves be burdened again by a yoke of slavery. John 8 says, "If the Son sets you free, you will be free indeed." That's the quote-unquote cult you want to join. It's called the cult of Christianity. That's the one where you actually get freedom. The rest of the world does not give you that. The rest of the world wants to take your freedom away. In John 8, Jesus also says to the Jews who had believed him, Jesus said, "If you hold to my teaching, you are really my disciples. Then you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free." Guys, the only way to freedom is Jesus Christ, guys. That's the only hope that we have in this dark and depraved world. So turn to him now while you can. Hold to his teachings so you can really be his disciples and know the truth, and that truth will set you free, guys. Now's the time to speak out, because it's happening right before you. The mark of the beast is already here. It just hasn't gotten on your hand and forehead yet, but they are moving it into place. So if you don't preach about it now, you won't have the chance later, because it might ruin your social credit score. Guys, I love you. Wishing you all the best and all the blessed. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. May the Lord turn his face toward you and give you peace. Wishing you all the best, all the blessed, and Maranatha.